It has been a disastrous game for Real Madrid, and Carlo Ancelotti has acknowledged it in the press conference. Nevertheless, Real Madrid manages to advance to the Champions League quarter-finals. Let's hear from Carlo Ancelotti.
Have you experienced more suffering than happiness for reaching the quarter-finals?
Yes, I have experienced a lot of suffering during the match. Too much. More than I expected, since it was a complicated match in which we played poorly. So yes, I suffered a lot, but now I feel very happy because we have advanced to the quarterfinals. Now, in fact, we are better than ever because in La Liga, we are 7 points ahead of the second place and in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, despite all the injuries since the beginning of the season. If they had told me that this would happen at the beginning of the season, I would have signed the agreement. On the other hand, if we have to improve, we haven't played well. I have to be critical of myself. This has happened again because it's not the first time that we have taken a small advantage from the first leg and failed to manage it mentally. We didn't play well, we pressed poorly with little intensity, and I recognize that I made a mistake in the lineup for the match. But my intention was to have intensity and pressure on the opponent, and we didn't do it.
Can you define the match in one word? Also, can you tell me what was the game plan to avoid that back and forth that happened during the match? Fans we have interviewed after the match don't understand what Real Madrid's game plan was. Could you explain?
Honestly, I also didn't understand what game we were playing on the field. As I just said, the plan was to have a midfield with players with a lot of energy and press in the opponent's half and have a high rhythm in the match to avoid the opponent's counterattacks. But the reality is that it was a very lazy game on our part, everyone defending back, and we were never able to press in the opponent's half, which was necessary to do. I define the match in one word: tough. Last year we had a big advantage against Liverpool. It happened similarly as even the year before. This is part of the history of this team, that we are not able to manage the advantages.
If you were to set up the match again with the same advantage from the first leg, would you field the same starters? Do you understand the criticisms all around when Real Madrid don't play well in a season where you have only lost 2 games?
As I said before, you have to accept criticism, especially when it's deserved. The criticisms we are receiving today are totally deserved. The boos we heard at the end of the first half are deserved. Then we played the second half a little better because the boos woke us up. I think it's good to have demanding fans at the Bernabeu. Perhaps with the boos, the audience didn't expect the team to wake up, and we woke up only for moments, and that's it. There are 2 truths. We are happy to advance to the quarterfinals, but we reproach ourselves because we have to play much better.
Your photograph has appeared in the press around the world regarding the tax and fiscal case in Spain. The prosecutor is asking for prison for you, but you defend your innocence, explaining that you were out of the country for a few years. What can you tell us about this case?
I honestly think this moment and this place are not ideal to talk about this issue. I have already commented on it in another interview before. All I can say is that this is a very old story and it doesn't affect me, and I hope it can be resolved very soon. I have no problem with that.
Sancho has said that some warmth is needed in the Bernabeu Stadium. Is the balance between criticism and support from the fans that delicate?
No. I believe that our fans have always supported us and always give us their help. In this stadium, we have experienced many fantastic and historic nights. Tonight has not been a good night at all. But we will be fortunate to play another Champions League quarterfinal match at the Bernabeu, and I am sure we will have a fantastic atmosphere by then.
Today we saw two sides of Vini. We saw a great goal, but he could also have been sent off. Have you seen that moment in the match? How can Vini control his emotions to avoid being sent off by a red card?
I saw the goal-scoring moment, which was fantastic. From the pass and run to the shot on goal. Then we saw the clash with the opponent. And Vini pushed him a bit hard. But it definitely doesn't seem to me like a red card offense.
Could you tell us, what does the team need to improve to regain the form we all saw at the end of 2023?
I think we need to be a bit fresher somehow. We have lost possession of the ball in the vertical play. We are not accurate in our plays, and we have a very weak and slow game. We need to regain our game as soon as possible. We have 2 matches in the league and then the break for the international fixtures. Many players will go with their national teams. So we will have time to clear our minds a bit. I think the team is tired mentally. It's possible that we will have Militao and Courtois back for the quarterfinals, and those are good news.
Why did you decide to play with a 4-3-3 formation instead of the usual 4-4-2? Isn't this formation ideal to achieve the pressure you wanted? Why experiment when the pass to the quarterfinals was at stake?
The reason is that to have a good defense, we wanted to have control of the game and contain the opponent with 2 defensive midfielders like Camavinga and Tchouaméni. We did it this way because we noticed the danger in this area in the first match. We tried to play with the 4-3-3 and have Cruz play as a pivot and play further forward. The truth is that the opponent handled the ball very well from their area with their defenders and midfielders. This caused us problems, and we were not able to generate higher pressure.
Yesterday, Camavinga said that he could play alongside Tchouaméni in midfield. Although he could have done better in the first half, why did you change him at halftime? What did Camavinga do wrong?
The reason is that we changed the system on the field, and I put Rodrigo up front. We switched to a 4-4-2 formation with Tchouaméni and Tony as defensive pivots, Bellingham on the left, and Valverde played on the right, so it was just a tactical change. But believe me that if the change would have been because someone wasn't doing well, then I would have started by changing the team's coach.
Have you had the opportunity to see how the new format of the UEFA Champions League is? Do you like the new format they have given?
I have a very rough idea of what it will be like. I think that if a new tournament format pushed for more matches during the regular season, then they are wrong.
Gracias.
Ciao.